blue, without any thought, as innocently as you can imagine, Dave says, well, it never occurred to me that I would miss.
Last month, I'm doing one of my workshops here in Ottawa. The workshop is called Public Speaking and Personal Contact Skills for Entrepreneurs. And in this workshop, there's a very nice man, his name is Brian. And he comes up to the front, and I said, Brian, what do you do? And he says, I'm a tennis instructor. So the first thing that goes through my mind is, I don't need a tennis instructor. I don't play tennis. I have no interest in tennis. I've got no possible business relationship with this guy. Now, that's not a conscious thought, but that's kind of what goes through my mind, right? So we work with Brian over the course of about 15 minutes, and at the end of the 15 minutes, this is what he comes up with. And if you met Brian today and said to Brian, what do you do? This is what he would say. You know how sometimes kids have so much energy, you don't know what to do with them? Put up your hand if you can relate to that. You know how kids sometimes have so much energy, you don't know what to do with them? Well, what I do is I take kids 6 to 12 years old, I bring them on a tennis court, I exhaust them, and I teach them great tennis skills, great sports attitude, and I hand them back to their parents.
And I put the pants on the counter, and I reach into my back pocket, and I pull out my wallet. Now, in the world of professional selling, we refer to that as a buying signal. She smiles and she says, come with me. Now you gotta understand, it's not very often that a pretty lady walks up to me and smiles and says, come with me. So I said, okay. I follow her. The amygdala is the emotional center of your brain. So when you have these thoughts, then that releases some emotions that are associated with those thoughts. Now, emotions have actual physical molecular structure to them. There are actual molecules of emotion. Thus the name of the book, Molecules of Emotion. So when you have these thoughts, I'm afraid of speaking in public, I'm no good at this, I'll never be any good, I hate this job, whatever the job, or it never occurred to me that I would miss. When you have those kinds of thoughts, these molecules of associated emotions flood your body. And that's only phase 2. Phase 3 is this. I'm at a client site. I'm in her office. And on her computer screen is a picture of 3 kids. And so I said to her, are those your kids? And she says, yeah, the middle one is mine. And you know what? He's got so much energy, I have no idea what to do with him. I said, I know a guy. This guy will take your kid, bring him on a tennis court, exhaust him, teach him great tennis skills, great sports attitude, and hand him right back to you. And I kid you not, she looked right into my eyeballs and she said, I want his number right now. Those shoes. And she goes, and I said, what's the matter? She goes, it would really be a shame. I said, what would be the shame? She says, to be the best dressed guy in the bar from the waist down and just one of the crowd from the waist up. And she reaches out with the shirt. She reaches out with the shirt, so I mechanically reach out with the shirt. She opens the door to the change room. And I spent twice as much money at that store that day than I had any business man.
Here's a very simple example of what we're looking for. I'll do one for my business, and it can be this simple. Okay? My name is Steve Lowell. I work with executives and entrepreneurs to help them in 3 critical areas. 1, networking skills. 2, public speaking skills. 3, confidence skills. Put up your hand if you're unclear on what I do. That's Sparky is back there.
The door of the restaurant, and he turns like this, and his fists won't fit through the door, so he keeps banging against the door. The lemon comes in sideways, and I'm at my table. I'm going, oh. I know he's going to come over to my table. I know it. So he does. He waddles his way right over to my table. You know why? Because he has so much confidence in himself. He doesn't care what you think. He doesn't care what I think. It doesn't occur to him to miss. Wouldn't that be a great way to live your life? It doesn't occur to you to miss. So the next time you have these thoughts about yourself, I'm no good at speaking in public, I'm no good at anything, and I'm not this and not that, and I don't have this and I can't do that. Think about what you're doing to yourself at the molecular level. You are changing your body biology. So I hope you got some value out of that. Thank you very much.